Hi, my name's Wendy from Sunflower Publishing, and I am delighted again to welcome Toni De Palma. Now, Toni joined me for an author chat last year when her gorgeous book, Butterfly Summer, was released. July, I think it was, wasn't it? And we had a chat about the book. Now, Toni enjoyed it so much, she's come back for another chat. Um, but this time, she's going to talk about how the audiobook has been created and produced and uploaded or whatever you do. So I also want to bring in the voiceover artist, the narrator. I don't know how you want to phrase that, but this is Terri Mastrobuono, and I'd like to introduce you to her so that between the two ladies, we're going to tell everybody out there how it's done, basically. Tips and tricks. So, Toni is an award-winning author of Under the Banyan Tree, a middle grade novel chosen by the Children's Book Association as a New Voices pick, as well as being author of other books as well. The latest one is Butterfly Summer, which has received some extremely good reviews on Amazon, which you must be very thrilled about.
I am. I am beautiful. Beautiful.
So, can we go over to you first, please, Toni, so that you can just give us a quick resume of the book and the inspiration behind it?
Well, the story is very much intertwined with the inspiration. It's based on a summer when I myself was 18 years old and I went to Italy to visit my aunt who was born and raised in on the island of Ischia. So I intertwined the fact of that experience that summer with a fictitious character. The protagonist's name is Anna, and Anna is 57 years old. She is a Hollywood producer who, ironically, she has no love life to speak of her own, but she's created a reality show called Bride to Be. That my inspiration was the ubiquitous reality show Bachelor and Bachelorette. So it starts off with Anna having to frantically find a destination for the finale of her reality show. And she's sort of hoodwinked by her assistant, Cheryl. And the reality show finale is set for Ischia. And she does not want to go because she harbors a secret from the summer when she was 17, and she went there and visited her aunt in Ischia and fell in love for the first time. So it's, like I said, an intertwining of fact and fiction.
Okay. Now, the reviews that you've had, I just want to mention these because they really are quite stunning. Let's just have just a quick look at a couple of them. We've got an extremely well written book. Toni De Palma creates describing Ischia is captivating and sucks you into the story. Butterfly Summer is a beautiful and heartfelt story. Toni writes with so much sensitivity, you instantly connect with the characters. It just goes on, doesn't it? Doesn't it really? These amazing reviews. What a read. If you're a woman of a certain age, you look back on life and wonder about the what ifs. Butterfly Summer is a must read. The story swept me in immediately. So, those are just a few of the glowing reviews that you've had. Now, from July, you had the paperback available and the Kindle version available. We've got those on Amazon. So take us to a point now. Why did you think you would want an audiobook version? And talk us through how you got to Terry.
Well, um, wanting it and achieving it are two different things. So wanting it, I've become aware that people more and more enjoy audiobooks. We're very we have busy lifestyles. To sit down and take that time to read a book is becoming, unfortunately, harder and harder for people. Um, and we are exposed to so much auditory content through podcasts. And I myself, like, I like to go for a walk in the morning and I'll listen to something. So that multitasking feature is very attractive for people.
Yeah.
So that was one aspect of, oh, and I should also say, even before that, before considering it as, you know, expanding it for those purposes, I was actually speaking to a friend who read the book and really loved the book, and she wanted to share it with her aunt, but her aunt is legally blind, and so she asked me, is it in audio? And I said, no, but I would love. I never considered, somebody who could not read, for a variety of reasons, and the only access they could have to a story was through an audiobook. So that kind of really gave me added incentive to approach my publisher. Now my publisher, she was open to the idea, but she also said, it's very tricky finding the right narrator for a story. It's sort of like dating, you have to find your
Is it Terry?
Yeah.
your I do believe in miracles. And actually, Wendy, that's what you came in.
Yeah.
I had posted.
Yes.
I had,
I felt a bit
right.
like the matchmaker from Fiddler on the Roof. Matchmaker,
Yeah.
matchmaker, can find me a match.
Well, right. Um, so, I had posted on social media that I was looking for a narrator, and you, Wendy, knew beautiful Terry because you're both there in beautiful Italy while I'm here in New Jersey. Um, and you told me that you had this friend who is a trained actor, and through my publisher, Mare, um, we set up for an audition through, I believe was it through ACX, Terry?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we, Mare was sort of the front line for all the auditions because she's very, she's done this before. She has more experience than I do. And she was so excited when she got Terry's audition and shared it with me. And it was pure alchemy. It really was. And
Can I just ask you at that point, who were you looking for? Someone American, someone Italian? Would it have mattered? What did you have in your mind's eye of the person? Somebody,
I,
go on.
I, I didn't really have a preconceived notion. Um, I I'm sort of an intuitive person. I know it when I hear it, or I feel it's right. Of course, I preferred somebody, um who is around my age, or around Anna's age, I should say, because Anna is the age when I wrote the book, I was 57. So I knew I wanted somebody who was mature, had mature life experiences, who could understand not only the character's point of view from when she was a young girl, because this book takes place not only when Anna's 57, but when she was 17. So having that life experience, was because we did have a few auditions that were narrators who were younger.
Yeah.
So that was ideal. And beyond that, just somebody who felt the heart of the story. And not being a trained actor myself, I didn't even consider, the different voices
Yeah.
required of this
Yeah.
particular performance, because I don't even think of the
Yeah.
narration. This is really a performance, and I didn't even realize that until it was put in Terri's hands, and she
Sure.
performed it. So yeah, so I don't think I went in with too many preconceived notions.
Terri, can I just come over to you now and bring you into this? So you read the book, you love the book, I assume. And
Yes, I did.
what did you think that you could bring to the project?
Well, the fact the setting in Ischia. I mean, I recognize. I've never been to Ischia. I've never been to that town, but I recognize that small town Italy because it's very much like here where we live. The fountain. I know the fountain. I know the people. I know the bar that has one section for the tourists and then another section where the locals go. I just, I felt like I know this, and. And then also the characters, the character of Anna, the young Anna, just tugged at my heartstrings because I feel like that's a universal thing, your first experience with love and when you're a teenager and going through whatever identity crisis, or not even a crisis, but whatever identity struggle you're going through. And on top of that, falling in love. I mean, that's so universal, and I connected with it, from my own experiences. Um, but then the way Toni writes her characters is just, and I think that was reflected in the reviews. They're so real. They're so distinct, and their emotional life is so clear that when I read it, as an actress, yeah, I've spent most of my life as an actress in live theater and some film, but I just thought, wow, the characters just I could connect with them because
Right.
they were real and so well delineated. So after I read the book and I wrote down all the voices, I think there were 26 different voices. And I thought, can I do this? Oh my goodness. But I wrote down for each voice the qualities that I wanted, and there was one like Anna's aunt, her friend, um, Toni wrote her, Anna at one point doesn't like her very much, and she calls her a witch. And I thought, oh, I can do a witch voice. Um, but the connection was even before the challenge of the voices. I thought, okay, that's going to be a challenge. But the emotional connections with each of the characters, they're so real and they're so well delineated that I just knew I wanted to do it. I just wanted to act this book.
One of the questions that we had that I saw coming in today was about finding the right fit. And I guess you would both, has that got to be for both of you? I mean, does the narrator think, well, yeah, I'll do it anyway, I can just put it on my profile? Or do you feel, would you have turned it down had you not felt it was a good fit for
Uh,
your talents?
I
Does that
did
make
I
sense?
did turn a book down on ACX a while ago. Um, the author sent me a manuscript, and I started reading it, and I thought, I can't connect with this material, and I would be
Not true to yourself.
I would be doing us both a
Yeah,
disservice.
sure.
I mean, I think Tony and I have communicated on several occasions, and I feel like we're both intuitive people. I don't act from a technical standpoint. I act from how it resonates. And so if something doesn't resonate with me, I feel like it can't be forced. Um, not if it doesn't not if it doesn't resonate with me, but if it, I don't know if this is a word, unresonates,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, then I feel like, no, I better not do this.
I mean, in a way, it's almost, I suppose, like, not that I've ever done it, but casting someone for a film, isn't it? Whether or not you have a definite image or you just wait to see who arrives to audition. But this fit, it's got to be beneficial and advantageous and almost kind of symbiotic in a way that
Mhm.
benefits the author as well as the narrator.
Yeah,
You'd agree with that, yeah.
yeah.
Shall we listen to some?
When
Shall we listen to a little bit of it? We'll start with the finished product. Now, Terri, just tell me the chapter 5 that you chose. Tell me what was going on at the beginning of chapter 5 for anybody that's going to listen to this.
Oh, gosh, uh, uh, I don't remember.
Tony,
Uh,
chapter 5.
yeah, I know it deals with Anna as a 17-year-old
Yeah,
in her aunt's house. Her aunt teaches
yeah,
summer school basically for
yeah, yeah,
and I believe this chapter deals with when she first meets
yeah, absolutely.
this girl that really is
Yeah.
Delia, who
Okay.
really she connects with.
She does. She absolutely does. So let me, by the magic of technology, what I need to do is share my screen with you. Okay. Then if we go into that one.
Chapter 5. Morning light presses through the slats of the shutters, but it's not the light that forces my eyes open, but the sound of bubbly laughter. As I enter the room, I'm surprised to find that my aunt's living room is a hub of activity. A tall boy is poking another with his pencil, while a girl with tumbling brown curls that skim her shoulders sits with her back to me. At the sight of my rumpled clothes and matted hair, the boy stops his taunting and stares at me curiously. Ciao, I say to the group. The boy lowers his gaze to my chest. He leans over to the other boy and whispers something in his ear. The first boy bursts out laughing, while the other boy, who is smaller and whose thick bangs fall low over his eyes, looks down at his hands. The blood rushes to my face, and I just stand there. My mother's futile promise that some girls develop later than others rings in my ears. The girl doesn't turn around. Instead, she picks up the biggest, thickest book from the table and hurls it at the two boys, clocking the ringleader on the arm. "Ow!" the boy yells out in protest, just as my aunt is walking in. She's wearing another house dress, this one just as colorless and bland as the one she'd worn the day before. Though I assume these are her students, the ones who require summer tutoring, She seems to be in the middle of cooking. She's holding a metal contraption with a round barrel where a couple of boiled potatoes rest. A crank extends out from the barrel. Arturo, Giovanni, fermatevi, my aunt tells the two boys to pipe down. Do you really want to stay back another year? My aunt, her hand slowly beginning to turn the crank of what is some kind of potato masher, turns to me. You must be starving. I left you something in the kitchen for breakfast, she says with a gentle smile. Along with my jet lag, some of the awkwardness between the two of us seems to have lifted. Grazie, I say, thanking her for her kindness. My aunt walks around the table, continuing to turn the crank, all the while peering over her students' shoulders, checking on their progress. I head for the kitchen, but not before taking a quick peek at the girl who'd stood up for me. Her head is buried in her book, but she can't fool me. It was her laughter that had woken me up from my stupor. And now that she's revealed how tough she is, I want to know more. In the kitchen, I find a dish.
I'll stop it there.
My aunt's idea of breakfast isn't cereal and milk.
How does it feel, Toni, when you hear your book brought to life? When you hear your words brought to life, very superbly, I have to say. How does that feel? Talk us through that.
It is very emotional. I mean, even as I've listened to it a number of times already, and now I'm hearing it, and I feel transported there. Terri, as I was listening to not only her enunciation of the Italian words, but the aunt's voice, which is my aunt, she another actor might have turned that character into a caricature, but Terri created real flesh and blood characters. She does it with such a level of respect for their humanity and for the language. We hear Italian caricatures all the time, and
I know.
And I feel so lucky that I found somebody who understands beyond that.
So now that you've got the right fit, Terri, can you talk us through the process that you went through to record, edit, send off, get back? Talk us through that process, the bit that you did.
Okay. Well, first of all, I mean, thank you, Toni, for the compliment. The character, I knew or know so many of the characters in this book. Like your aunt was my grandmother, in a lot of ways. So it was really, I wouldn't say easy, but it was, I could connect with those characters. But anyway, so first, once I got the notice from ACX, I had to submit an audition and submit it to ACX. And then
just for the purposes of anybody that doesn't know what's ACX?
ACX is the platform that creates and manages audiobook creations
within KDP, within Amazon.
Yeah, they distribute to Amazon, Audible, and iTunes.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that manage the creation of the audiobook. So I did the audition, I got the notice, you've been accepted. Yay! And then I got the finished manuscript. So I printed out the finished manuscript and made notes of all the voices. Then I went chapter by chapter. So each day I would target a chapter to be recorded, and I would record it. I would read it to myself. I'd practice all the voices that were in it. Then I'd read it out loud a few times, and then I'd go down in my studio, which is a tiny little closet-sized room, and record it. The recording part is always fun for me because that's the acting part, and that's what I really, really love. Then I go back and I listen to it a bazillion times to edit. And editing consists of editing out any kind of any breaths, mouth noises, mouth noises. There were reading any of the sound that wasn't quite right. So editing that, fixing that. Then I'd go through and listen to it again with reading the text to make sure that I got that I was saying the right words. And sometimes I wasn't, and I would be like, "Oh, I gotta re-record this. Why did I say that word? It clearly says this word there."
And how long would it be for a chapter then, to start and finish a chapter? How long are we talking of?
Well, it depends on the length of the chapter. It would take me maybe half an hour to 40 minutes to record it, and then the editing would take me hours,
forever.
like maybe 4 hours. 5 hours. I'm very slow at editing. There are all kinds of shortcuts you can use, technical shortcuts you can, plug into your recording software, but I'm not that savvy, and I know what I know, and I didn't want to add anything that I didn't know and mess up my process. So I just
you were doing this last year because I remember meeting you for lunch, and you were just saying, before I fly to the States, I have to finish it. I can't go on holiday for Christmas, otherwise Christmas will be cancelled. I have to finish this.
Yes.
We've got the deadline. I have to do this before I fly off to the States.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh God, rather you than me. It sounds quite a deadline to me.
I wanted to, because you kind of get in a zone, actually.
Yeah.
And I got into the reality of the book. I don't know if this is true for other actors, but you really just get into that world.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You live it. I don't know.
And Terry also said when we met for lunch, she said, "Thank goodness my husband's not here because he's not here. I've just got the house to myself, and I can just get on and do this without him asking for a sandwich or a coffee or something. I could just do this peacefully."
I didn't have to figure out. Yeah.
But we won't tell him that.
Very much the same on this end also. And I've always compared like writing to going down into a well.
Right.
I'm in there, and then when I have to come up, I come out of the well and I blink like to adjust my eyes to reality, because I've been something else. And I understand the husband thing.
Yeah. I didn't have to do anything except the book. And, so I wanted to finish it before I left for the US so that I could stay in that zone. It's really hard to reconnect. Well, probably know that as a writer too, Toni. It's really hard to reconnect once you come out of it. And also to have the same narrator voice, that has to be consistent. I would record at the same time of day, every day. And so I didn't want to mess up that flow, if you will. So I was leaving for the US 5 days before the actual deadline that Mayor and the publishing house had set for me for the submitting the finished product. So I was 5 days. I had 5 days less to do that, and that. So I was kind of a little bit nervous about that shortening, but I did it. And then what you have to do is you go onto ACX website. You have to submit each chapter by chapter separately, and each chapter then goes through a screening process where they either give you a thumbs up once you when you upload it, or they say unacceptable because of blah blah blah. And there were a couple chapters where they said, nope, the RMS level, and don't ask me what technically it means, except it has to be between a certain decibels. And my RMS levels on a few chapters were too low. So I had to go back, reload the chapters and fix it. And then, you submit the whole thing, and then it's time for Toni and her publisher to listen to it, for them to accept it, for them to say yes. Or, Toni could have said, you didn't get this accent right. You didn't pronounce this word correctly. And then I would have to go back and do what's called pickups.
Quite a process.
Re-record.
We've got a little clip of Terri in her closet doing the recording. Just before we do, I just want to, for anyone that hasn't yet read the book, I just want to say that, I reviewed the book and I loved it. I really did. But what struck me, and I think this is what I wrote, I think, that this book doesn't back down from the hard things. From a girl navigating the choppy waters of adolescence and first love to sexuality and mental health. It's a coming of age story and effective in giving the characters an issue to fix, mature from, or evolve from. Teenagers don't generally listen, and they're always engaged in some rebellious stuff that challenges authority, norms, and expectations. So there was a lot in this book, and hopefully, Toni, you feel or you felt that Terri was not going to shy away from some of these issues that were raised in the book. Because sometimes, it's not just a romance, it's not just a historical fiction, it's a coming of age story, as we've said, with some tough issues. How did you think she might cope reading that?
Well, I think what was really special was that Terri and I, even before she recorded the chapters and submitted anything to back to ACX, back to my publisher or me, we got to know each other. And we talked about our own lives, and here's where a lot of the miracle all really started proving that this truly was a miracle. So Terri is also originally from New Jersey, and we both graduated from the same women's college here.
What are the chances? What are the odds?
It's like we knew each other already. And so, and I think she had mentioned this before. And when I was listening to the sample, it reminded me. So this is a first person point of view. So it's already a very internal, reflective narration. And the way she reads it is very intimate. I'm a visual reader. I have a hard time really listening because I think I get so distracted. I could not be reading her. I could not be listening to her voice while driving, because God knows where I drive, what I drive into, because she really swept me away in her narration. It was she became Anna. Um,
It's like having a film made of a book, but more intense because there are no visuals. With the book, it's all in your imagination, what the characters look like, how they sound. It's not, the film is where you see it. So you think, oh, I didn't know she'd look like that. Oh, yes, that is a good representation. But the audiobook, there are no visuals. It's just the voice. Just the voice. So that puts more of a demand, I think, possibly on the narrator to get that atmospheric thing going on, hasn't it? You know, to create what's been written in the book.
Well, I think that a lot of it, again, speaks to Toni's writing because it was, I was able to connect with it so easily and completely. There were times when I had to, I had to like wait. I would read out loud to myself before recording, and I had to wait after reading it out loud before I could go record because I got choked up. I connected so much. I felt so much for that character of Anna, especially as a young girl. I raised two daughters, and holy hun, their teenage years were roller coasters, and then the older Anna too, having set aside or that very significant time of her life and not deal with it. I mean, I could relate to that too. I mean, I think we all have those things that, like,
Sure.
I don't want to revisit that because it's too painful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, that was there in the book. And so connecting with it was very powerful.
Let's have a quick look at you doing the recording. So we've seen the finished product, which is classy, and then we go back to how it actually comes together, which is
Just one note. This is my husband filming, so you'll have to take it with a grain of
yeah,
salt.
good old Craig. So let me just share my screen again, and let's just go into the video.
Okay, so how does one make an audiobook for Butterfly Summer or any audiobook? Well, usually I started by printing out everything, and I read the whole thing a couple of times. And one of the things that was really wonderful and fun for me as an actress about this book is that there are tons of characters. And I wrote out a diagram here of all the characters. I think there's 36 of them, 36. So the challenge was, before I even started recording, was to just find how to voice all these different characters, which is really wonderful and really fun, and sometimes really hard. But so every morning I would read through the chapter or chapters that I was going to record, and then come down here to what I call my little crawl space, my little hideaway. It's very tiny, and really kind of improvisational in a way, because this batting here to make the sound floor be what it needs to be. This is just a big old quilt. A friend of mine, a house just a couple of houses away, and she had these old quilts. She said, "Terri, you want them?" I said, "Yes, I'll put them in my studio." And it's really counterintuitive because the other spaces that I've made for recording, out of all those spaces, this was the best. And it's counterintuitive because it's all hard surfaces here in this little house in Italy. It's got marble and plaster and stone and tile. So it doesn't make any sense that I would have the best sound dampening space in this place, but I do. So I come down here on my little hideaway, tucked away, and so I have my mic set up, and the interface between my recording program and the mic set up here. And then it's rather unconventional because, again, my methods are a little bit unconventional here. I just read off my phone. So I put my whatever chapter for that day right here in this phone holder, and hopefully, and I'm going to have to position myself so that I can both read the script and also have a good position in the mic so I can get a good sound. So I don't know if you could come down here, maybe let me have that, and I'll show them what's here. This is my wonderful husband who is helping me. He's a photographer here. Okay. Anyway, so this is my setup. This is my DAW, what's called a DAW, which is the recording software, and I have it on, my recording software is Adobe Audition. So I turn on my light, I turn on my interface, I get close to my mic, and off I go. So I'll just show you what happens when I record. Okay, so here we go. I press the record, and once upon a time, there was a woman named Terri, and she decided she was going to be a voiceover artist. So what did she do? She created a studio, and here she is in her studio recording. Take two, which often happens. Once upon a time, there was a woman named Terri who decided she wanted to be a voiceover artist. So she made this little studio and started to audition for books. And thankfully, Toni De Palma picked her up and said, "Oh, would you record my book?" And I did. So there we have my recording. Then I have to edit. This is the part that is the most challenging. So if there's a breath, you can see right in here, there's a little glitch, a little wave that indicates that it's not going to be great sound quality. So I have to like boom, take that out. And then here's a big old breath that I need to either take out, or I can lower the volume on that breath so it isn't quite so distracting to the people who are listening to it. Back to you, Greg. So that the editing process takes quite a while, and then I've got to master it, which means making sure that all the levels are right, that there's something called an RMS level that ACX requires to be between a certain decibels and all of that, and then I save it. And then when it's all done, all chapter by chapter, I save chapter by chapter. When it's all done, it goes into ACX, and that's where I start nail biting, because ACX has to approve all the technical specs of everything that I have recorded. Once they say, yes, okay, all your chapters meet the specs, then Toni listens to the whole 7-hour, 22-minute book. And there's another nail-biting time, because it's the author's baby. And I hope I have taken good care of that baby and made it into something that she wants to grow with her listeners. So then it goes to the author, Toni De Palma, then it goes to the publisher, then it goes back to ACX, who has to go through another round of quality control. And then finally, you get the thumbs up, and it's a great day. I go out and have several glasses of wine and tell everybody to come and buy this beautiful book that Toni De Palma has entrusted me with to bring to life.
Oh, you're such an actress. You're such a diva, Terri. You're such a diva. Okay, so I think that's great. I mean, it's nice to get the finished article. It's nice to see how it's done. So can we just talk about once it gets to ACX and it's gone live? Somebody asked me, oh, let me find the question. What did she say? She wanted to know, my questions are around the distribution channels for indie authors and pricing suggestions. So maybe Toni, you would like to answer that.
So, I mean, I'm not self-published. I have a publisher who worked as they determine the pricing.
Right,
And I know Audible and it's on
right,
iTunes.
right.
Terry, is there any other distributor that you know of?
There are. I think you can, as an indie author, as long as your book is published, I think you can join ACX and get your book there, and then um, if you want a narrator, you just set up an audition. You'd have to go into ACX and find out how that's done. As far as the pricing, I'm not sure how that's determined. I do know that ACX does set, if you're doing a royalty share, for example, it will set the percentage that the author and the narrator get, what percentage of the sale. I don't know if they do that with like sales of the Kindle or the
Yeah,
hard copy,
might be,
but I know they
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
How do you feel about it now that it's been launched, Tony? I mean, have sales been good on the audiobook? You know, what's the next step for you? Are you always marketing it? How's that working?
So I get a statement from my publisher.
Right,
And so I don't know yet
right,
how the book is doing. So it, it the whole process is always marketing though. And
yeah,
what I find something that I found really beneficial is I created bookmarks with the QR code.
right.
Um, I hand out to people, even when I go to the beach and I see people who are reading, I will approach them and talk and say, I noticed you're a reader. Would you like a bookmark? Check
Oh
out my book.
wow. Oh wow.
And that QR code sends them right to Amazon. And now the audiobook is right there next to
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
paper and so it's very handy. Um, yeah, I marketing is its own skill set.
Yes.
Listen,
Yeah, we know this.
I was watching Terry and what you've done, and you know the video that you created with Greg. I had no clue what went into this, the editing process, and I was it was amazing. I'm glad to be the writer.
Yes. Yes. Well, every breath, I suppose when you talk normally, we do stop for breath, don't we? And like you say, the difference in levels, and it can't be like that.
And
Uh,
the mic picks up everything. I
yeah,
mean,
I can imagine.
there were times when my voice, I don't know what for, but if I said an A sound, it came out like this, and you could see that the wavelengths, the waveforms
Wow.
looked like corduroy, and I was like, how do I get this out? Um, but as far as the marketing is concerned, ACX gives me, and I also believe the publisher, promo codes. So we can hand out these promo codes where people can listen. We invite people to listen to the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Um, and I have some, if anyone wants them, I have 25 for the US and 25 for the UK. I will share them.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And
Fantastic.
actually, I'm currently running a contest on social media. If you follow me on Instagram at writer Tony,
Yeah.
or on Facebook, I'm Toni De Palma. So I have a little contest going for Valentine's Day. It's what I like to do. My marketing, I think, is best done through interacting on a personal level. So the contest is based on I'm getting a new puppy, and I have her picture on social media. And if you guess her name, your name gets entered
Oh,
contest for a free audiobook code. And there's a little hint. I'm a big Barry Manilow fan. So
Okay.
her name has something to do with Barry Manilow songs.
Her name is Lola. Lola was a showgirl. I've got it. I've got it. Lola.
Perhaps I'm not giving it away until the end of the week, but go to my social media and name under the post and you'll be entered.
I've no idea. I'm not trying to win anything. I've no idea. Okay, ladies, we'll leave it there. One final question, I think, for you, Toni. And when is the sequel?
Oh wow. I I I'm writing another book.
Yeah.
This one based in New Jersey. I don't know if there will be a sequel to Butterfly Summer. What do you think, Terri? Do you think these characters have wings?
Hard to say. The ending for me was so satisfying that I would hate to have it like unless there was something that there was some place for them to go after this. I would hate to see it stretched just for the sake of a sequel. But I found the ending quite satisfying, and yeah, I think there could be some possibilities. Um, I would love to know more about
Out then.
about your aunt and
Yes.
and life in Ischia and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know about these particular characters because I agree, Terri. I think the emotional resolution was complete.
Mhm.
But I love the idea of writing another book set in Ischia. So maybe to
You
be
made
determined.
me want to go to Ischia. It made me want to go visit Ischia.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it,
think we should really, Terri. I think there should be a works outing to Ischia, really, so that we can see how beautiful it is. But okay, ladies, let's leave it there. And thank you both for your time today. And I hope anyone that watches this and listens to this is motivated and inspired to create an audiobook. I mean, as I said in one of my promos on Facebook, it's it's increasing all the time. Different age ranges. You might think it's just 18-year-olds. That's really not the case. Audiobooks are getting more and more popular. They do not show any sign of dwindling at all. And I think writers are going for the package, aren't they? We've got the Kindle, we've got the paperback, and we've got the audio book, which basically is just all bases covered, which I think is a good thing
I
for
agree.
readers. Anyway,
thanks.
so go on.
Thank you, Wendy. I just want to
Oh,
No,
my
thank you.
pleasure. My pleasure. And
thank you both.
yeah, I mean, thank you for joining me and explaining the process. And yeah, if anybody's got any questions for you guys, I'm sure they'll write in and, we can cover them. But um, have you got the price point for the book on Amazon? Do you know what it is? I did look
Boy,
at it
it's all
yesterday
over
and
the
I've
place.
forgotten. Yeah.
It's if on Audible it's free if you join.
Yeah, you've got to, yeah.
On ACX, it's just kind of it's all
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
place. So it
But I'm sure,
depends on
but on
how,
Amazon, people can find
yeah,
it
it
on
depends
Amazon.
on how you acquire it.
Of course, of course. But it's an amazing, beautiful coming of age story. I loved it. I really did. And I'm just absolutely thrilled that a friend of mine, Terri, has got to narrate it as well. So, wonderful.
Thank
Absolutely wonderful.
you for
So,
being our maker.
thank you, ladies.
You're a good Yentl.
See you for lunch in a couple of weeks, lady.
Tony, you can join us too.
Oh, do you know, it's such a pity you couldn't fly over.
One of these days, I will fly over and meet the both of you. I'd
Oh,
love
you
Wonderful.
that.
should. Yeah,
Yeah, wonderful.
we're having a Festa della Donna lunch, which I think's really nice to do. You know, celebrate womanhood, whatever form that takes, and yeah, just celebrate the fact that we've got a lot going for us, haven't we? Really.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. I will leave you, love you, and leave you.
Thank you. Thank
Ciao.
you. Ciao, ciao.